Mahila, look, I could be reading into the code a little bit too much on the last Grox video, but I think Barack Hussein Obama is Osama bin Laden. Like, it just makes sense. I mean, he was in the Middle East, he did his stuff. Then 9/11, and then he basically was molded to be Obama and went through the whole thing. Got Area 51, like, got a new body, new look, the whole deal. And I think when Grox was in Vegas, that's when Bin Laden's girl was probably trying to get with Grox. And that's why Barack Obama has that name, you know? Because I don't know exactly. I don't know how that works, but like maybe she wasn't trying to get with Grox. Maybe it was just like a misconception, like a I don't know. Like they met and like it was something was weird about it, you know? I can't put my finger on it, but I just think like the Chris's, Chris Pine, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. I think those could be the horsemen that were the trickle down system of Bin Laden, and he brought them with him. So yeah, like Obama was a political organizer in Chicago. That's probably when he went through the Area 51. That's where they placed him. So and then I think that he did have the Hiram Fong connection. I think he did. Somehow maybe he was in Hawaii first, you know, when Hiram was around, and then that's when, you know what, that's probably when he got into like driving and stuff, and that's when he switched over to be like he brought his horsemen over later, but he became part of our trickle down system. And that's when those stories came out about him, that like about the cocaine and the limos and all that, because he must have been using the limo, he must have been using that as his comfort to get done his stuff for his burdens that he wanted to do as a martyr, which is as the beloved city and camp of the saints about in our mechanism. And that's why he's on those Waddell paintings as in the limo, because it's like he's driving as all this is going down. Like he's, even if he's in the back seat, like he's in motion so he can like control. That was the whole deal with him, was so that he can control and not press the nukes or something, even though everyone expected him to. like all of Islam would want him to. So like he Muslim, limo, the whole. I think this does connect. I mean, I think there's something here. Um, this is a first look. But basically, in December 2012, when the It got the Samson Force, then he was like, okay, I need to I need to be on this side of it. And he already had his Fong connection, so he already knew about Lono, and he already knew about the Samoans. He could kind of see how it was gonna go. So just trying to think, like, then and then it's the whole tier connection. It's all the arc, man. It's all the arc. It's all this. It because with what happened um with the Phoenix in between the domes, like the MV church going, and the grill in Tustin, which is all connected to what's going on now with my deal. It's right there, the addresses, the geography. That when Paul Walker died, it was actually a microcosm of what had happened with me and Tyr. It was like that happened, and it meant a lot of stuff, but it was also part of the uh, rise or fall. So I think because they knew that I was going to have the deal, then they were like, let's take out Paul Walker. Like, I mean, they weren't, they weren't like that. I mean, I think it was a big tragedy, dramatic event. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what was the feeling of it. Like, how were they going about this? Because Paul Walker was Son of Man for so long. Then Paul Newman died. He was the new man, switching back and forth between Kevin J. O'Connor and Paul Walker, which was a reaction to the Danny Newman. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking that maybe it was a dress ordeal with Paul Walker. It really was. In the intel sense, the story sense. That they didn't want him coming up with too many stories because he was doing so much. He was taking on so many burdens that it probably would have been just completely crazy what he was coming up with. And they probably said, we need to take him out and we don't need to ruin his image because they needed his image to help me out in some ways, you know? Even though I wasn't like a huge fan, I still just trying to figure it out, man. I don't like why did Obama take him? Why did Obama take out who's two above him, kind of like on the trickle down scale? Like I know it doesn't mean like who's above or below. It just means what it is. But like, why did he do that? Just trying to figure it out. I can't put my finger on it. Like, it might go back to the Mitch stuff, that they needed him to actually make the Lions stand. Maybe that's what it was. They needed him to make the Lions stand. So either he had to do something in the stars, or they just needed him to be the spirit. I guess it goes to the actual spirit of the power over fire. They needed him to be power over fire for the spear. Toss it into the wine press and all that. That must have been what they needed that for. That which was see, he died November 2013, so it's basically a year and a year and 7 months later, So, what, 19 months later? So, 19 months. I think there's a whole thing with that lion, man. I think that he must have been the spirit for the last part of a Mark Camp in a jar. He must have been like for that creature, that it creature, which is shown on that last video of Ursula and Troy. He must have been AM or Camp and AJJR, I camped with Tyr, in Phoenix. Climbed a mountain, almost got stuck, all this stuff. So and a JJR. JJ is the it's a reference to fast food sort of thing. Fast and Furious, So if you have, but the torso is anaconda. So there, there's that. The torso is anaconda, which is part of the Dilophosaur, the staff, which is 3-day symbolism, which Beetlejuice is the 3-day of, Son of Man, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Then you have the anaconda that's the trades. Then Paul Walker wasn't really part of the system. He was kind of an outsider, kind of like Mark Wahlberg is. So I just, hmm, I think that's what it is. I think that anaconda torso and lion arms, that must have been him, man. That must have been him. So that was 19 months, and then we went right into Heath Ledger, which they pulled Building 7 for Heath Ledger. So all of this is shown on Brock the Rock channel, that we went over it so many times, those two. It was always those two. Because I guess we needed the betrayer side, you know. We needed the betrayer side, and then we needed the Paul Walker side, the Legion side. Which I think relates to the gravities. That was a prelude to the gravities that we just went through, you know? Because you have Greenwood, which is all Daniel 12, the guys on the sides of the river and the guy in the center of the river. Those are the three gravities that we just went through. It's Greenwood, it's Euphrates, and it's the Edmont, right? Isn't that what it is? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if that's what it is. I think it is, you know. Um, I just know it's three gravities, and we just went through all three of them, and their death and hell are two of them. You know, like I, and then the shadow of Egypt's the other one. The shadow of Egypt is the other one. It's death and hell and shadow of Egypt are the three gravities that we just went through. Okay? So now if we're on to 144, then we've got that Heath Ledger side going. Like we've got that going, which means we have Obama going. Then we have the Paul Walker side going. The leg Ion, the leg of the relay, Greenwood. Then Ion. Okay, so that's probably Euphrates. Then the Heath Ledger one is the other one. I can't think of what it is. I'm trying to think. All right, I'm gonna end the video. I can't think of what it is. It's all written down. We have it all though.